Hello everyone. I would like to start this by saying that this video is in the style of a heavily opinionated journalistic piece. I'm not affiliated with any of the groups that I will be talking about in this video, and I'm a fairly new member of the community. I simply seek to give some clarification to a topic that it seems like no one wants to poke with a 10-foot pole. There are some great things that I would like to share with you, but I don't want to get anyone who has good intentions in any trouble, and I especially don't want to give exposure to a group that is exploiting fans and targeting children. Having said that, I think it's time someone publicly said what everyone who's in the community knows. While most people fear it will give exposure to this toxic group, I genuinely believe that something publicly needs to be said, or they will continue to get away with the things they are perpetrating. I want to start out with a little backstory, as I'm not usually an MMO player, and I want people who may not know about this niche game from over a decade ago to have some understanding of the basics of what's going on. LEGO Universe is a game that embodies the spirit of the Traveler's Tale style LEGO games in an MMO package. It released in October of 2010, and I was one of many people who loved the Traveler's Tale games and was excited to try this game. The art style was epic and it embodied themes from other popular MMOs like World of Warcraft. As a LEGO branded game, it was clearly intended for children, but still contained themes that would appeal to all ages. The hype for the game was massive, with LEGO making many trailers for the game and theming their website around LEGO Universe for quite some time. Like many MMOs of the time, the game was accessed on a subscription basis, kind of like WoW. You had to pay a subscription to access the game, even after purchasing the software. I remember begging my mom for a subscription to the game, and my brother and I were very excited for the different factions and the adventure in the game. I enjoyed all the Traveler's Tales LEGO games before that, like LEGO Star Wars, LEGO Indiana Jones, and I'm sure most people have too. They're very popular, and a lot of people still play them to this day, and they're available on Steam and most consoles. The subscription basis for the game is probably what led to its downfall, however. I think the executives who funded this game seem to think they had a cash cow, like WoW, on their hands. But what they seem to forget is children don't have money. This is also in a time in the semi-early internet where parents were much more wary of letting their kids into online groups. So between needing to pay consistently to play the game and parents not wanting to sponsor this game, it didn't bring in as much money as it seems the developers were hoping. So in 2012, the game and its servers were shut down. The game, however, had quite the devoted fan base, and the end of the game led to the creation of the group Darkflame Universe, who went on with the intention of reviving the game and letting people play the game again. It took many years and lots of work for them, but in 2021, they released their work open source so anyone could mod and have access to the game. Now, to present time, Darkflame recommends that if you want to play the game, these are the steps you should take. And again, this is just how I phrased it in the video. If you really want their true words on this, go to their website, Darkflame Universe, I think it's .org. And they give a great rundown of basically their whole project and what you should do. But here I have summarized it. So set up a LEGO Universe server through the code provided on their GitHub and acquire a copy of the client. See, they can't provide anyone with the client to this game as they don't have the rights to the software. So you have to take matters into your own hands on that front. And as this is an MMO game, you need a server to play on. So you can't just have the client and play on the client. You need to be connected to a server. In order to do that, you need to set up your own server to play on. As anyone who's ever tried to set up their own server with little to no technical knowledge can say, it's a pain. If you've ever tried to set up a Minecraft server, port forward it in any way, you kind of have an idea of the steps that you need to take to make this work. It's not impossible if you really are committed to playing LEGO Universe. It's not an impossible task, and it's just not very accessible. But obviously they can't make it accessible as they don't have the license to any of this, and it's all copyrighted, and so you kind of have to do everything a little bit shadily. So if you a lot of this like fun that you could be having in this game is blocked behind barriers of needing to know this project even exists in the first place, because it's not like it's plastered all over the walls, or if you know about Lego Universe, you probably think, oh, it was shut down. Like there's not you need to have like the knowledge that this group exists in the first place, and then you need to have the technical knowledge to acquire a client to play on and opening a private server. And if you want to play with friends, it becomes even more complicated. You either have to set up your own public server or your own port forwarded server. I don't even know the technical things that you have to do to set up a multiplayer server. It's not a very like easy process. According to Darkflame, though, it has become easier. They've made changes to how everything works, and it has become easier. And there are tutorials on YouTube that will explain how to set up a working single-player server and a working multiplayer server. But it remains in relative obscurity. All right, now, first of all, before I go on to mention the bad actors in this drama, let me first shout out the good guys. The people involved in Darkflame Universe are amazing and have the best intentions and simply want this game to be preserved. And if you are interested in playing LEGO Universe, I highly recommend looking into the group Nexus Universe. Another disclaimer, there are no official LEGO Universe servers, and everything you do is really at your own risk, but if you had the same itch as I do and want to play this game again, or try it for the first time, then look into Darkflame Universe or Nexus Universe. Now, to the bad side of the story. Something you really wouldn't think would exist for a decade-old game with passionate fans. It's something I still can't really wrap my head around. Now, people seem to have some sort of issue with saying the name of this bad server in order to not grant it exposure, but I really am of the opinion that people need to know what to avoid, and the moment there is really no one saying the bad part out loud, you know, that just it just gives this group more opportunities to take advantage of people who don't really know anything about this. Because if you're trying to just come into this as a new player, this is going to be this bad group is going to be the very first thing you run into, right? Okay. So this is the quiet part that no one is saying out loud. Avoid LegoUniverse.com, or avoid TheLegoUniverse.com at all costs. Now, this is the crazy part. If you Google the words Lego Universe, the very first search result is TheLegoUniverse.com. So, if everyone in the community knows to avoid this site and that they are running scams, why is this the number one result? This is something I'm still not really clear on, but I have my theories. I believe the person/persons running TheLegoUniverse.com don't really care about the game. They're simply using nostalgia/curiosity from children who happen to click on the website as a means to a monetary end. They make the claim on the website that running the server is expensive and the work they do is time-consuming, and that you should really donate to them for all the work they do. You might think to yourself, wow, they really must care about the game and deserve some money if they're keeping this game running for free. But remember Darkflame Universe? Yeah, the people who run the LegoUniverse.com servers are using Darkflame's open source work to run their servers with zero credit given in any of their YouTube videos or on their website. And to top it all off, the server itself is a scam. it runs at a really slow speed, and this is all stuff that I've just heard. It runs at a really slow speed, so your character movements are slower, so questing takes more time. The enemies are buffed, so they're harder to defeat, and all the in-game shops are given inflated numbers. They also added a battle pass, I guess. I don't even know how or what it means. It just says battle pass on the bottom of the screen. I don't know, someone just posted a screenshot of it in Discord, so I don't really know if it's real, but that's crazy to me. This is also, you give them real money to unlock items that fix the problems of moving slowly, or you give them real money to buy items from the shop. It's a scam, plain and simple. This is not the vanilla game whatsoever. It's heavily modified to fit their monetary incentives and stuff, and I've heard rumors that there are NSFW mods that are added to the server, which I really don't think is appropriate in a children's game, especially since everybody else who is actually passionate about this game has all the intentions of heavily moderating the game so that it isn't an NSFW problem for children who might stumble on the game. And that's another thing, is you really should be 18 if you're going to do this. That's my recommendation, as there are no official servers, right? And you could run into anybody on any of these servers at any time. There are claims that it's expensive to run the server and updating it. It's seemingly false. Many other groups run it for free, and a lot of people, a lot of these servers that run the game for free, and vanilla, by the way, demand that you don't give them money. They are like heavily against this group and asking for money for this. They believe that this should be a free experience. That being said, too, I don't think people are necessarily against modding the game, right? The Darkflame universe people, they released their work open source so people could mod the game and have access to everything and the full experience. That being said, it's obviously not intended that they would have nudity or profanity in this game. That's definitely more on the children's side of things, and especially exploiting people for money for it. So there it is. I said the ugly part out loud that no one publicly will say. If you have any more information about topics of this video, please start a discussion in the comments, or look into one of the many Discord servers if you have questions. I heavily recommend Nexus Universe, and hopefully we can all have the opportunity to play this classic game for free the way that the developers intended us to.